news for the first buddy, Elon Musk, the chief twit who bought the White House for upwards of $250 to $290 million. I'm not entirely sure of the exact monetary figure he gave. Well, anyway, he continues to see backlash in his businesses for tying himself to President Donald Trump. According to data released on Tuesday, Tesla sales across Europe plunged by nearly half last month. Oof, it's a bad trend line. Now, you could say, of course, hey, look, I get it. You know, the economy, it's not so good. There are some problems with the economy, but of course, and then if you say that, you're going to have to admit what is causing the issues with the economy, or I should say the most recent issues, which would be the Trump tariffs. And so that gets kind of embarrassing when you think about it. But okay, sure, you could make an economic argument to say, well, the reason that, they're not selling as many Teslas because ain't nobody got the money. No, it turns out this is happening while other EV companies are actually increasing their market share. Yeah, people are buying electric cars, just not Teslas. All right. So now, according to figures released by the European Automobile Manufacturers Association, or ACEA, sales of Tesla vehicles in 32 European countries fell. Not just fell, they plummeted like a Tesla or like a SpaceX rocket. Okay, with a rapid, unscheduled disassembly of their stock prices, or their sales, fell 49% to 7,261 in April, from 14,228 in the same month in the previous year. Oops, or which I say,
whoopsie.
Yeah. Now, at the same time, sales of battery electric vehicles by all manufacturers rose 28%. But what about gas-powered cars? Certainly, yeah, you could say, well, okay, sure. So there are more people buying electric cars, but what about the gas-powered? People love their gas cars, right? No, it turns out sales of gas and diesel-powered cars went down. Oops. The figures, which cover the European Union's 27 member countries and 5 other nations outside the bloc, back up early data from Sweden, the Netherlands, and Denmark, released at the start of the month, that have pointed to a sales collapse for Tesla. Fascists get wrecked, at least in Europe, to be fair. Hey, you know what? It's kind of Europe's kind of the famous place for wrecking fascists. So, yeah. And look, obviously a lot of this has to do with Elon Musk's right-wing unmasking, I guess, because I don't know. I don't know if he was right-wing his entire life, or if he was, if he was and he was hiding it for a long time, putting out messages, fake messages of, oh, here at Tesla, we are very, very inclusive to everyone. I think love is love. I remember when he would put out those posts and then got dragged even further to the right, radicalized, if you will, by having a transgender daughter who continues to roast him to this day in epic fashion. I love it. But I don't know if it has to do just with that. I think a lot of it does. But that's, again, only one of the factors, right? Aside from the cyber dump, okay, the wank panzer, Tesla hasn't come up with any new vehicle designs. So it's kind of aging, all right? And generally, they're just not making good cars. Their cars kind of blow, or they blow up. Not good. Now, that said, they're not making good vehicles, at least compared to their competition. Especially from, get this, China. That's right. The Chinese EV manufacturers in China are eating Elon Musk's lunch. Okay, that's it. Sales at China's SAIC went up 54% in April, according to the ACEA figures. The SAIC owns many auto brands, including the US-based MG, known for their low-cost EV models. There you go. So again, China eating Elon Musk's lunch. Awesome. Not only that, but again, I mentioned the trade war earlier, and I think that also is a factor here, which is, of course, why Elon Musk had unsuccessfully attempted to lobby against it. So, yeah. That said, not doing very well on that front. So, or on any front, really. Which is partly, of course, why he decided to pull back on his political spending. Recently at the Qatar Economic Forum, he said, quote, "In terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future. I think I've done enough." Enough what? Damage? To yourself? Not just the government, obviously, which he has done a lot of damage to, thanks to Doge. But again, his brand, so it's probably both. Now, GOP strategist Alex Conant said this about Musk, quote, "I think he's feeling a lot of pressure from his other stakeholders, investors at Tesla specifically, to refocus on the car business." What? No, I thought what you liked having a CEO that just kind of disappears, but actually not disappears, but actually goes out in front of the public in the most cringy and ridiculous ways, going to Wisconsin, spending a whole lot of money to just get wrecked wearing a cheese hat, trying to buy that Supreme Court election. Oops. Oh, no. Boy, did we mess up on that one, he said, except that he didn't. Okay, but yes, the investors aren't exactly happy. The shareholders, stakeholders aren't exactly happy with, Musk and his embrace of the far right, at least the open embrace of the far right. And so they're like, oh my God, you're hurting our business. You're hurting our money. And that's the one thing, of course, they care about. So Conant said of Musk's remarks, quote, "He's telling them exactly what they want to hear." Well, yeah. Men added that Musk could, of course, change his mind. Like, for example, I don't know, dropping a bunch of money on the midterms because the Republicans might get wiped out. So, but anyway, look, here's the other thing, right? He's been put as the face of Doge, obviously, and of course of the Trump administration because of all that influence that he had. And I think Trump's advisors were actually really, really happy to allow him to take the smoke from all the really, really unpopular government cuts instituted by Doge. These are cuts that Republicans have been wanting to make anyway, so let's not forget about that. They didn't want the political blowback, you see, because it turns out, cutting all these agencies and all that, pretty unpopular, all right? Pretty unpopular. But here comes Musk to then take all the attention and focus off of them and all the horrible things that they want to do and that they are doing as this special government employee, right? Now he's no longer a special government employee because it had a shelf life of 130 days. So he had to step down. But don't worry, though. He's still there. He still has influence. He was there with the really weird, awkward meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, where he actually ended up showing the South African president claims of white genocide, except it wasn't actually white people, and it was actually in South Africa. It was actually from the Congo. But anyway, he was there at that meeting watching over. So he is still there. He is behind the curtains and could come out at any time to drop a bunch of cash on an election. That $250 million or whatever. Look, it's a drop in the bucket for this guy. He is very, very, very rich. Okay. And so, but that said, he is very, very rich, but he could also be really, really close to over leveraging himself. Okay. When it comes to the Tesla stock, that's where all of his money is tied up. Okay. And so, yes, I do think he might be concerned about that, which is why he's trying to get as many government contracts from Trump and the Trump administration as he can. Now, this latest one, by the way, that he's tied up with could see him help and benefit from building Donald Trump's wasteful Golden Dome. Why everything has to be golden, I don't know. It's Donald Trump. He likes golden everything. Golden toilet seats, golden domes, golden showers. It doesn't matter. If it's golden, he likes it. But this project, Golden Dome, is basically dumping money into a giant freaking pit and lighting it on fire. That's what he's doing. And look, this isn't the first time the United States government has helped out these defense contractors, these corporations that promise to have a missile shield. We're going to have a missile shield. It's going to be great. No, we've been wasting money on this for decades. Okay, all the way back in Ronald Reagan. In fact, Ronald Reagan is pretty much, ground zero, patient zero for screwed up government. All right. Now, the development, this is since the development of the first interceptors that were made back in 1962, the government has actually spent about more than $530 billion on multiple ineffective missile defense schemes. So according to Stephen Schwartz, a nuclear budget analyst, over $453 billion of that was spent in failed efforts launched by Reagan in '83 as part of his Star Wars defense missile system. Yes, that's right. Instead of, feeding people or combating poverty or anything like that, housing, affordable housing, he spent $500 billion on the military for crap that didn't even work. And of course, Donald Trump's doing the same thing and will likely have the same result. Not that they give a crap. Okay, the Congressional Budget Office estimates that a Golden Dome system would actually cost as much as $831 billion over 2 decades. Wow. Sure, we're cutting Medicaid, for the poorest people in this country, but at least we're going to have a non-functional missile defense system. Yeehaw! America. So stupid. It's so stupid. We live in the stupid country. Stupid. We have idiot leaders that are wasting all of this money. But hey, you know what? To them, it's not a waste because somebody's getting freaking rich. All right. and look, I know Donald Trump's claiming that, we have the technology now. We can build it. We can build the Golden Dome. It'll be great. We can do what Reagan couldn't do. Except for no. Okay. Scientists said that even if all the complex technology and computer software involved worked flawlessly together, which, of course, anybody who's an IT knows that is never the case, an adversary could still defeat the system. How, you say? How could they defeat the great Golden Dome? By launching a bunch of missiles at it. Isn't that the whole purpose of the Golden Dome, to shoot down all the missiles? No, if you launch enough missiles at it, then you could beat it. You could overwhelm the system, and these missiles could also be defeated by basic countermeasures that could spoof the sensors. What a freaking boondoggle! This is worse than the Trump wall that could be defeated by simple ladders. I mean, seriously, though. But once again, it doesn't matter to them if it works or not, because people are getting rich off this stuff, off the military-industrial complex. All right? And the people that are getting these contracts are, of course, they're all MAGA. They're people like Elon Musk. They're people like Peter Thiel. Musk's company estimates that the initial design contracts alone could be worth between $6 to $10 billion. And it's not just Musk, by the way. You've got Thiel's company Palantir and drone builder Enderreal that will help design and build a system. I hate that they're using names from Lord of the Rings because I love Lord of the Rings. Okay. And using the evil stuff. They might as well just call it the Eye of Mordor or something, because that's what it feels like we're in. All right. The Eye of Sauron defense system. What is going on here? No, you're not supposed to emulate that. That is not a good thing. Of course. So, but this is where our money will likely be going. Not for food for hungry people, not for education, to educate kids, or healthcare, or housing, or anything that really helps society, but to just rich tech bros and their shit toys. So with all of that, it's for me, it's hard to believe that Elon Musk would actually care about boycotts. I'm not saying like, oh, don't boycott him. No, totally boycott him, right? I'm just saying, like, why would he care about these boycotts at this point? I don't know. Maybe at some point these contracts are going to run out, or maybe in the next administration they'll get canceled, and there'll be that, and then of course the investors, they're already not happy with him ignoring essentially his car company or anything like that. So maybe some of those businesses might go under or whatever. He'll get over leverage. I don't know. We'll see. Have to see what what happens. And more importantly, if Elon Musk ends up seeing any sort of consequences for getting involved and essentially purchasing our country for a fascist. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.